Hello. Yeah, there we are. Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for having me. I was here yesterday already, and I saw this great production of the Spanish Polkadot community. I'm very proud of the guys putting this event together here today, and also happy to speak today for you guys about Phala Network. I'm Vice President of Growth and Partner at Phala Network. And as you might know, Phala Network is a parachain on Polkadot as well as on the Kusama network. I have to apologize again, I will speak completely in English. My Spanish is not too good yet, but we have Freddy here who will translate. But just to get an overview, who of you guys understands me in English a little bit? Okay, oh great, I get a lot of support, that's cool. So we don't need Freddy, right? It's good? No, maybe we do a little break in between and you translate. Cool, no, that's great to know. So I would like to give you a short introduction about, or a longer introduction about Phala Network actually, our blockchain, as well as Phala World, which is a specific use case that we are developing on top of our cloud. Sorry, this was a bit too quick. So. Let's start over again. I brought you here some news snippets that you don't have to read all of them, but these snippets actually show a lot of problems that are currently happening in the cloud business, right? So just to make you aware, there are millions of dollars spent yearly to actually get rid or recover a lot of data that are lost or that are actually stolen or hacked in cloud breaches throughout the year. One specific example, there were a hack at Meta, ex-Facebook, where there were 530 million accounts, user accounts hacked, and this data was used publicly, right? So the numbers also show it very clearly. For example, sorry, I have to find out how the things work here. Maybe that side? Oh, okay, there I have to point to. Great, thank you guys. There, okay, it has a little bit of a delay, but I figured out. So the data shows it actually, right? So based on the research, there's 45% of cloud users that overall experience data breaches, right? Which is often also based on failing data application audits. So there's a big problem in the cloud business overall. And the problem is pretty clear. So centralized cloud services that are out there right now, they have two main problems. It's the data privacy and the accessibility of data. And this is exactly what Phala Network wants to solve. So Phala Network is a decentralized cloud computation protocol or platform. And we mainly focus on the high computation to provide scalable applications, games, or metaverses built in a decentralized way. And as I said, we mainly focus on the computation, but we partner with a lot of decentralized storage providers. And actually partnering with decentralized storage and providing this kind of computation, we can provide a whole decentralized cloud tech stack that can make any of your applications available with a decentralized backend. Do we need a translation here, or are we good? Okay, just checking in. Let me see if I get this right now. Yeah, so to summarize this, Phala is, as a decentralized cloud, we focus on deep services as well as capabilities in the cloud business. So we want to make it for you guys as developers or non-developers, but end users, very easy to use our cloud. And that's why we develop not only our cloud computation protocol, but a lot of services that make it actually available for you guys to use decentralized computation. Here you see an overview of our decentralized cloud. So the cool thing is about Phala Network, we at Phala, or the company behind Phala, doesn't own any of these servers. These are all different locations around the globe. Of course, there are some areas that we can improve, but you already see it's very, very global, right? So all of these servers that are provided by the community for the community. So if you have specific hardware that we put out the requirements, you can actually provide computation power to the community and to specific applications. And we have designed a very interesting tokenomics design that with this we can almost provide a 100% uptime of servers for the cloud. So this is very strong in comparison to AWS or Google, for example, because these companies own the data centers, right? They own these servers, they can access your information. We cannot access any information that runs on our cloud. We cannot shut down any of this cloud service because it's not run by us. It's run by you guys, by the community itself. We love to say with what I just explained to you guys, providing this kind of cloud to actually make impossible applications possible. And why is it like this? I would like to take you a little bit back to the evolution of how applications actually work. You guys might be familiar with this kind of history evolution, right? Building applications or actually writing scripts on Bitcoin was very, very difficult. Then, of course, going into MetaMask, like browser extensions, is also, I mean, it's better user interface, but it is quite difficult, or it was more difficult to actually write a script on Bitcoin to actually host it in the backend. Now we are at a point where we talk about DeFi infrastructure, right? Decentralized finance. It's super, super heavy applications, as well as metaverses. And these kinds of applications, they need to be hosted somewhere. And unfortunately, most of them are hosted still on centralized services because there's not too much out there, right? Or people are not aware of it. However, to build DeFi, you need decentralized infrastructure. It's in the word, right? Decentralized finance. As well as metaverses, unfortunately, Meta, this company, builds a completely centralized metaverse, right? So we want to actually enable people to build real Web3 applications and not jump back to Web2 infrastructure that is there to just make something possible, but not with the real Web3 vision. To give you a bit of an overview, I hope this is not too techy, but I would like to make you guys aware how these applications are actually hosted, right? It is very simple here. You see the back end and the front end. And what I just explained, everything, these kind of applications in Web3, they often use Web2 clouds, yeah? Google Cloud, Amazon, Azure. But they have their own protocol. They use other Web2 services. They use decentralized storage already. But this Web2 cloud component is heavily used. And this is exactly what we at Phala want to disrupt. So to build a whole decentralized application, you also need to understand what you need, right? You need to, or you want to be blockchain native. You need to have low latency. That's why a lot of people use centralized services, because they just have a very low latency. You also want to have connectivity. You want to have off-chain communication. It's difficult to use on-chain infrastructure, but then still communicate with off-chain information or requests, as well as continuous service, right? You want to have your application up there 100%. Again, that's why a lot of people fall back to centralized services, because they can actually realize all of these things. But we as Phala Network can do the same. So this is the cool thing. We are here to actually replace this Web2 component. And all these pieces that I just explained, we can achieve through our decentralized cloud, as well as through Fed Contract, one of our applications that we are building to make our cloud accessible. So Fed Contract is running actually, or being used similar to an AWS Lambda. If this is too technical, look it up what it means, but it's used a lot in app development. And with this, we can actually, or by actually doing a lot of things off-chain, we can achieve all these things that I just explained. We can have internet access, scalability, uptime, low latency, but also the blockchain native component, because we are not replacing any blockchain. We are replacing the Web2 components. So this sounds all cool, but why Phala? Why are we actually the best in this environment, and why should you use us? This is a very cool slide, I feel like, because it gives you the comparison between Web 2 and Web 3. Right? We are a cloud computation protocol. We in the end, compete with other cloud environments that are out there. And AWS is one of the biggest ones that are used. But you can actually nicely see here how our servers differentiate. AWS has their own data center. We don't, right? We use our own blockchain that runs on the consensus. However, we don't run as any other blockchain. We run more like a cloud because we separate the consensus that runs on the blockchain from the computation. So our computation is executed off-chain in secure enclaves where we can actually achieve high data privacy because we cannot access any information that's executed off-chain. However, we can verify every transaction with our own blockchain, and then with Fed contract, we can actually make it super easy for the developer to access our cloud and to provide actually serverless functions. Also a bit technical, but I would like to have you guys understand what this actually means. If you think about game servers or people that want to spin up a server, right? They need to spin up their own server, which is accessible through a cloud. But we don't only provide these servers for free actually to the community, we provide a service that makes it easy for you to spin up these servers or servers in the backend. So this is called a serverless function, and these Lambda versions that we create in a decentralized way is actually only for you guys, for the developers, to make it super easy and super accessible to use our cloud. Wow, this was quick. Let's go back. One more, how to use Phala actually. I touched on this a little bit, but also another overview here, I talked about Fed contract, our decentralized Lambda version. This is actually how it looks. It is, again, here a bit more on the technical side, but what I would like you guys to understand, it is that we are actually taking something similar than a smart contract, but we take it off-chain, and with the off-chain computation, which is super powerful and a high innovation actually in the blockchain space, because in the blockchain space everyone wants to do everything on-chain, right? But not everything needs to be on-chain. So we decided to have computation as well as the execution of the contract off-chain. And we can achieve all these benefits that are listed here, right? We can have all the internet access. We can actually, it works also a little bit like an oracle, so you can get any data that's not on the chain, on-chain to verify it. And it's, in the end, just easy to access the cloud through our developer. If you understand more what a smart contract is, what I assume here, guys, but although if you don't know what exactly a smart contract is, just to see this comparison here, and to make it clear again, we don't want to disrupt any blockchain or any smart contract. We want to disrupt the centralized versions of it, right? So Fed contract, a Lambda version, works actually very nicely with a smart contract in comparison or in combination. However, smart contracts are used a lot in blockchain backends. So we would like you people to use our smart contract, our Fed contract, to make a lot of other use cases possible in the Web3 space that they are not able to execute right now because they're using smart contracts, for example. So this was everything about our cloud. I hope it was nicely digestible for you guys. But what are we doing with it, right? Who is using it? And what can you actually do with it? So I would like to tell you a little bit about use cases and specifically about Phala World. So Phala World is one use case that we at Phala are developing on our own to actually prove how powerful our cloud is. And I would like to know from you guys who loves science fiction. Oh, and who loves games? Also some people, okay. Okay, but you guys, you would be great people or customers actually to use Phala World. So Phala World is a project and a gamification layer that we are building on top of our blockchain. And to summarize it actually, or to make it in very simple words, Phala World is a digital representation of your progression, so everything that you do as a person on the Phala network, on our own cloud, on our blockchain. And this is super powerful because we are doing this, of course, on the one hand side to prove our cloud, but we are building this for you. We are building this this game and this gamification there for our community. You guys are using, maybe not specifically for Phala, but hopefully after this event, you're following our Twitter, right? Maybe you own some Phala token. Maybe you use your Phala token to use or to engage in the governance process. Maybe you also want to spin up an own server and you run a Phala cloud node. All this information is information of you personally, but it has a representation on the Phala network. So this information is what we want to collect and want to bring for you guys in a game to actually incentivize you guys more and motivate you to continue to be engaged with our network. And again, what I just said, we are really building a Phala world based on three main points. It's an innovative approach for the community. It starts actually with an NFT project, which is available right now, and you can mint it and own these NFTs. And in the second stage, we are building an RPG game. However, we really want to bring innovation to the community, and we want to not only create any NFT system or any NFT that you're owning, you can actually scale up your skill set of the NFT. We are using soul-bound NFTs, NFT 2.0, a very nice concept. However, it's really about your skill set to the Phala network. Here's just some nice pictures of these NFTs. There are 4 different species that you can actually purchase. And again, by contributing more to our code, owning more Phala token, having a node, you can actually make these kind of characters much stronger. Just another visualization. The cool thing here is that we also render these images on our own cloud. If you guys know about 3D rendering, this is what our cloud can actually do. So again, we are doing this showcase to showcase our cloud and to give back to the community. What you can actually do here, this is not a Phala world, but some of you guys might recognize these screenshots, right? It's funny, I just want to explain you how Phala world actually looks. So what we want to do with Phala world is that you own your NFT, your avatar, and instead of trading crypto in a cool interface, we want you to make actually, we want you to be able to trade crypto in a gamified way. We also would like you to be able to engage in the governance process through a cool interface and not only through simple UI. Same as like if you spin up a node, for example, this is like a miner node, you would do everything in a gamified way. And yeah, that was actually everything. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Phala Network, our chain, as well as Phala World, our own use case that we are building on top of it. If you guys would like to stay engaged, please join our Discord channels on Phala World and Phala Network. I'm happy to take some questions and to network afterwards as well. Thank you.
Hola, hola, hola. ¿Alguien quiere preguntar alguna cosilla? ¿Lo habéis entendido todo? ¿Sí? ¿Qué más?
Te lo pregunto en español, ¿le puedes traducir? No, mi inglés es... ¿Qué? Pregunta en español. Que por lo que tengo entendido, el Phala hace de cloud, ¿no? Pero no entiendo la interacción entre Filecoin, por ejemplo, y el Phala. Tú interactúas con Phala como si fuera un cloud, pero los ficheros realmente no se guardan en Phala, sino en Filecoin. ¿O dónde se guardan los ficheros que teóricamente están en cloud?
So yeah, the question is related to what is the interaction between, for example, Filecoin that you showed in the diagram and the Phala network's decentralized cloud computing system. Like how would be the flow between the two?
Great question. So if you build an application, right, or decentralized application or game, you have data that needs to be processed, you need computation, and you need to have the data stored somewhere. So Phala Network really only focuses on the CPU computation. We never store your data, but to provide you the whole back end, we partner with decentralized storage solutions that when you process the information on our cloud, we can directly send it to the storage systems. but it would be not on our network, but we have directly S3 API integrations to these storage systems that we can offer you the storage on that side as well.
Okay, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. ¿Alguna pregunta más? ¿Sí? ¿Dos? No.
Hello, I just want to ask. I talked with a friend, and he said that which is the difference between Phala and Manta, because there are so confused things there, and we have to know. Just a beginner question.
Yeah, no, great question, thank you. Manta network or Calamari network, also both parachains on Kusama and Polkadot. I think the question comes from the aspect of the privacy, right? Which is a valid question because Manta network completely focuses on privacy. What they do, they provide a privacy layer to actually wrap your assets and make them so you don't see any you can have your transactions private on a blockchain, let's put it like this. We at Phala, we also focus on privacy, but it's not our main positioning. Our main positioning is computation. So Manta network provides a protocol layer for privacy. We provide a cloud computation protocol. However, the privacy that we provide is in the hardware that the community spins up. So we can also never access the information, but we focus mainly on providing private computation. Manta is for private asset transfer. If this makes sense, thank you.
Hi, I want to ask you, because you talked about to save the dates with the network of Phala, but it's useful, for example, for a corporation or like a big company, so there is only like personal information.
Say again, sorry.
For example, Phala, it's normally to save the dates, like in a blockchain,
yeah.
But it's useful, for example, for a corporation, or it's only for the personal.
It is so the advantage to have privacy built in the cloud is that no one can access this information. For example, you have a Facebook or Instagram account, right? And you send messages. Facebook, or Manta, sorry, the company that owns these applications, they run it on their own data center. Whenever FBI comes or says, I would like to access your information, the messages that you send, they could do it because they have access to this information. In our case, we could never do this because the information is executed in a secure enclave. So it is valuable for enterprises, but also for the end users that use the application of the enterprise that hosts on our cloud. So it is really to the benefit for people not to access the information of anyone. And we don't want this, we don't want to get in a situation where anyone asks us, please give us this information. So that's how we provide privacy for the end user. Thank you.
Hola, en español. ¿Cómo se
Yeah, with Freddy. Or with
¿Cómo funciona y cómo se comportaría beneficios de Phala Network ante un disaster recovery? ¿Cómo? Hola. ¿Ahora? Beneficios y comportamiento de Phala Network ante un disaster recovery.
Okay. So how would the Phala network service would sort of behave in a disaster recovery scenario of when you have something like that in regular computing?
What kind of
disaster recovery? So I'm guessing sort of a recovery from a data loss, or?
Yeah, I mean this is a tough question. Oh, I get excited about No, I mean, no one can, do something when war happens in a country or anything.
I'm guessing, like, I'm gonna take the question from him. I'm guessing, for example, in a regular cloud computing service, because they control everything, they could, if they lose something, they can sort of like patch it themselves out and recover out of it.
Oh, okay.
But in a decentralized systems like yours, how would that recovery would look like, right? If you don't have access to the data, you don't know. So I'm guessing, hopefully, that's the question.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Very good question also. That's why we use the blockchain, right? We have still our blockchain to verify all the information. The only thing is why we have the decentralized computation is an off-chain to achieve scalability, effectivity, as well as the other advantages like the access to off-chain information. However, all the information that's executed off-chain and the computation is verified on the blockchain. So we still have the blockchain as the immutable layer that it's used in other use cases as well. And that's how you can actually see what data was there and if it's the right data or not. Thank you so much. Great questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.